We're Jess and Orion, this is Benji and Lily, and together we have been travelling and exploring all over the UK with our tent box. Join us every Wednesday and Sunday as we share our adventures. Hit subscribe to follow along and see where the road takes us. Well, normally we would be going out adventuring, exploring the great outdoors, but unfortunately the weather is a bit grey and miserable. Now that's not usually a problem for us, we just get in the car and go off anyway. After all, we did prepare for all seasons, whether it be stupidly cold or pissing down rain, which is meant to do later today. However, since we've had Lilia, she's not quite old enough yet to go out in torrential weather and take the pushchair off-road and stuff like that. She's just not quite there. So instead, today, I thought we'd go to the National Home Improvement Show at the NEC. As so much of my content is focused around renovation, I figured it was one of the best places to go and explore and have a look around and get some ideas for projects in the future or things that I'm doing right now. Because whilst I'm doing okay with my DIY tiles, weird shelves and worktops, there is always room for improvement and learning, and I thrive on that. That's one thing I really enjoy to do, learn something new every day. That's why I started doing this YouTube channel, or well, at least why I started doing DIY stuff. So hopefully it can inspire me and give me some ideas like renovating this kitchen in the future or homes down the line, because we're not going to be here forever. So with that in mind, let's hop in the car and head off to the NEC. Well, boy oh boy, it is busy. And would you look at this, my dream setup. How sick is that? A 10 box on a Jeep. That's what I want. Wow, it's been a long time since I've been here. I'm pretty sure the last time I actually came here was 2 years ago for insomnia. It's been that long. From gaming to renovating. How times have changed. All right, into the sea of people we go. And I've already seen something that would be quite cool for the future in terms of office space. It's a contemporary garden room, and that just goes in your back garden, and then you just pick it up and move it somewhere else. So I could have an office like that. Very, very snazzy. I bet it's not cheap though. Yeah, that cost 25 grand. A £3 saving doesn't seem to crack the surface though. However, just next door is something even cooler. Look at that, it's like a little Hagrid hut. And right next to that, there's loads of tiki bars. That is super nice. One thing we are seriously considering in the future is a prefabricated home like this. I mean, how sick would it be to build one of these on the farm and live there? Which oddly enough, feels like something I could actually do. Don't get me wrong, it'd be a huge learning curve, but I would love to build my own house. I mean, really, how hard could it be? Probably quite difficult, but I've seen builds where they actually put houses together like Lego bricks. It's mad. They just come like that. Then you put your structure together and then you just wrap it in brick. And you could end up with a house that looks like that. Imagine living there. Oh my days, look at this stuff. The amount of detail that has gone into making that bench is crazy. Wow. I think I can only dream of being that talented. Just imagine being able to make a stool and table like that. Holy moly. But going back to the whole prefab build houses and stuff like that, from my understanding, you can't just get a mortgage to do like a self-build prefab house. You actually have to finance it, which is slightly different and potentially a bit more challenging to do than getting a mortgage on a house, albeit be so much better to have a house that you designed and built yourself with the layout that you wanted, everything, all of those things, and then put it together yourself is literally like a dream come true. And it actually works out to be roughly the same price, if not cheaper overall, because some of them are really energy efficient. Over 60% of your money is actually saved on a prefab build like that, especially from them anyway. But I don't know, it's a long way off and there's a lot to think about. We are kind of in the early days of our planning for the future, where we want to live, what we're going to do, like where, you know, what kind of house we're going to live in, all these kind of things. We're currently thinking about them. And much like the, you know, Jeep Wrangler or the Jeep Rubicon that I saw earlier, dreamy things, I think building a house myself is a dream. And I would love to do it. And if I can achieve that goal, it'd be a dream come true. But I don't know, we'll see. We've got to keep planning for now. After all, that's why we actually came here. Also was to get some ideas for the bungalow in terms of like the kitchen renovation and stuff like that. And there are some really cool kitchen designs here, which is helping open my mind to what I could actually do for storage, which means building more cabinets and like shelves and stuff like that. But at home right now, we just have things lying around without a home, and seeing these kitchens like their mock-ups gives you a good idea of where things should go and how to go about building it. However, I am still getting absolutely gobsmacked and distracted by these insane, gorgeous builds, as well as seeing the occasional really cool thing, just like this. I would love to have one of those in the house, but for 12.5 grand, I think I'll pass. Wow, some of these houses are just absolutely dreamy. This is actually a perfect example of what I would want my house to actually look like. Stone complemented by the oak. Oh my god, it's gorgeous. This is also gorgeous, and actually a vision we had for the boot room. A Belfast sink, an area to put our stuff away and tidy up. It is actually getting increasingly more difficult to film things as people keep walking in and out of shot, and we're trying to film and showcase something, but someone walks past the camera. It's getting very difficult, but someone just actually came up to me and took a photo, which I was not expecting at all. So a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for watching the videos. I really appreciate it. Well, as the crowds are getting a bit overwhelming for the kids, I think we're going to make our way back home because there's some stuff I want to talk about for the future there. Namely, the plans for our kitchen, as well as the dining table setup. Because after a lot of thought process and consideration and time off to think about what I want to actually do with this place, I had planned on changing this worktop, and that may very well still happen in the future. However, I'm kind of going through the motions at the moment of just trying to make this place as practical as possible for us whilst we live here. And replacing this and getting a new one is a tremendous waste of money when it works perfectly fine. That being said, we do have a new sink to go in there, and we actually have no place for our hob to go, because we really don't like this oven and hob that we currently have. It was left over from before, and I would like to get rid of it and eventually put a tall boy unit here with our oven in there, which means I have to repurpose this to cut out a space for our hob to sit in. To me, it makes a lot more sense to attempt to do it in the surface that's already there and reuse that surface than buy a new one, make a mistake, and end up with a brand new worktop that I've made a mistake in. So I think what I'm gonna do is gonna take this sink out, put our new sink in there. I'm also gonna cut a hole in here for our hob to go, eventually get a unit that goes on the end. Now, because I am going through another stage of wanting to get into cabinetry and building my own stuff, I am tempted to build my own cabinet there for the oven to go in. Seeing as though plywood is so strong and stronger than the unit I would actually buy to put there, and we're on a project of trying to save money and not waste money, it makes sense to me to try and build it myself. Once we have got a tall unit here with our oven in, our hob and sink done, I want to build some cabinets that go across the wall. But that isn't the only thing that I want to do in this kitchen. We currently have this space where our fridge freezer is stacked on top of one another, and this is just serving no space or purpose really other than storing my scrap wood currently. So the plan here is to get the same type of worktop as this, as it's super universal and very cheap, and put a bar that goes from there all the way across, and then we can put our fridge and freezer underneath, or keep it stacked how it is and then have one on top of the bar as well as one below the bar. I know that there has been some disagreements, for lack of a better term, in the comment section about having a freezer or fridge freezer that's on the floor, constantly having to bend down and stuff like that. Jess doesn't mind. She spent 5 to 6 years in the flat where we always had it like that. But I do like the fact that the fridge is at, my height. So maybe when I put a bar across here, I might just keep it on top anyway and just have a gap between the two, obviously. Once we've got the bar in, I can build more cabinets above it, and we can have 2 stalls where there is another workspace. That can be either used for sitting down, cutting veg and stuff like that, or just somewhere for the kids to eat, because eventually, when Lydia gets old enough to have food of her own, she will most likely eat in the kitchen. One of the things we did with Benjamin is we had this high chair, and instead of having to sit at a table and ruin it, because we had always had carpet and having him ruin the carpet, it made sense for him to eat in the kitchen, and then it's on a moppable surface and it's easy to clean and you don't have to worry too much. So if we have the bar in here, then the kids can eat in this room, it can be messy, and we can tidy it up very efficiently. That is what we're currently thinking with the kitchen. We're still kind of going through the plans and processes of how to go about doing that, as well as the idea of me building units myself is something that I'm going to have to learn and try and figure out. But as I've said many, many times before, this is the perfect place to do that. Now, in an ideal world, that would go in the kitchen. However, it is too big. And as of right now, or for a while now, we actually never sit at the table to eat at it because we can't sit round it. You kind of sit at it like it's a bar against the wall. Benjamin sits there and eats his dinner. He's currently using a gaming chair because we don't have any chairs for this table. So at the moment, unfortunately, the table is just serving no purpose. We didn't expect the sofa to be as big as it is. And the dining table, it just sits against the wall. And it doesn't make a lot of sense to keep it there. What does make more sense is for my desk to go here, where I'd originally planned to have it go, because there are sockets and Ethernet ports in that cupboard, which is not finished, obviously, that are all there ready to set my desk up. That way, I can work in here at any time during the day I want to without having to disturb Benjamin, because currently my desk is in Benjamin's room, and it's also taking up the space where Lilia's room is meant to be. Somewhere for her to put her clothes, not that she can do that, but for us to put her clothes, somewhere to change her, somewhere for her bed to eventually be, or a cot. So at some point, my desk is going to have to move. And because I love the DIY boot room as it is, having my workbench in there with all of my tools, because I use them so frequently, literally every other day, if not like once a week for the vlogs, as well as the gardening stuff, as well as our utilities in there, it makes sense to keep that how it is and for my desk to go in here. It gives me space to sort this door frame out, actually build proper shelves in there for me to store my things, have my desk here and a space for me to work in the lounge. I can be around Lilia when it's like during the day and Jess is at work or something like that, if that is the case that happens. And I can, chill in the lounge. It's honestly, it's the best place for it to go. At least I think so. It sadly means, however, that this really expensive, nice table that we've bought has currently got no purpose, and for now, we'll probably go into storage. I may have a look around on like Facebook Marketplace or some other like free to collect stuff of like a cheap second-hand dining table that we can maybe roll out, and it's smaller and more suitable for this house. And we could put it in the kitchen potentially if we do want to sit down around a table, or, if we have to, because putting that table together is super easy. When it comes to Christmas, we want to sit around and have a table. We can change the layout of the lounge, get the table out just for the day to have dinner on and stuff like that, and then put everything back the next day. It's not that big of a hassle comparatively to how we live day to day, and we have learned how we live here from being here for like 3+ months now. And yeah, it's just not getting the use with like Jess has currently got her like desk, or she's working off of it with her embroidery machine and stuff like that. And now that she's got her desk, when it eventually gets finished, she'll be working off of that. So the table just becomes redundant. It's just taking up space for no reason. Speaking of taking up space, we have boxes full of things where we haven't really moved out yet. Everything's just lying around. And we have all of these cupboard spaces that I have not done anything with. This one is currently storing more stuff. Same goes for this cupboard. So the plan I have is to completely restore and renovate the cupboards. I use that term a lot, but I just want to build the cupboards up so they can actually be used to store the things that we own, and in boxes that we buy, because we get the same boxes from the same place to store literally all of our stuff in. That way I can make custom shelves that fit the size of these boxes, and we can just be more efficient about putting things away. We're also considering, whilst we're here, making the most of sorting through our things, as this is kind of like a in-between me house. We're here for maybe 2 years, 3 years, how long it is. We're here for a short period of time, and obviously we've just moved out of the flat. We still have a bunch of stuff in storage at my nan's. I think it's a good time to sift through our things and organize stuff, as we brought so many plastic boxes to move into the Airbnb like a year ago, move out of the flat. We have all these boxes which are now empty because we've unpacked, that we can go through and sift through and sort out the stuff that we own, because we've just hoarded so much stuff. And we literally moved out the flat in a space of like a week or 2 weeks. We didn't really have time to go through our things. We just shoved it all in boxes and just brought it here and unpacked it everywhere. Half the stuff in this box is just like top drawer random crap. And I don't even know what half the things are in the corridor. Like, we've had these boxes here since we moved here and we've never gone through them. They've just been sat there for 3 months, and it's starting to annoy me that there's just things around everywhere, and I want to take the time to sort that stuff out. Now, you may have noticed I have moved our shoe cupboard things into here. Originally I had 3 of them in a row with a nice piece of wood that goes across the top. I have trimmed that wood off and put the odd one out over there, and I've got 2 over here. So the boot room is officially being used for boots and things. It's becoming a little bit more cluttered in here, but it's just there for the time being, so we can actually access our shoes, because we kind of have like winter shoes and like summer shoes. I don't know if anyone else is like that, but we have a lot of shoes. There's 4 of us. Obviously, Lily doesn't wear shoes at the moment, but there's 3 of us who have lots of different types of shoes, from walking boots to walking trainers to gym trainers to like going out shoes. There's just so much that it needs a home. So for the time being, it's in here. They are pinned to the wall, so they ain't going anywhere, and it works for the time being. What I want to do, however, is finish boxing this in so it doesn't look like such an eyesore. And after being at that show and seeing how they did kitchens there, they also had like cupboards which were like utility cupboards in the kitchens, and it showed how that they divided up cupboards to turn into storage spaces for like washing baskets and washing machines and tumble dryers and all that kind of good stuff. And I took a lot of inspiration from that so I can sort this room out. Now that I've got the floor that flows all the way through and that is done, I can actually start moving on to sorting this room out. I'm not going to go too crazy in here because I feel like it's just a waste of money, but I just want to optimize it so it just makes a bit more sense, so stuff isn't just lying around in random places. I am going to make a box to store all of my scrap wood, so I don't have to worry about that being all over the place. I would like to change the door as well as the window, just to make this room a little bit warmer and feel a bit safe, because it doesn't right now with this door and that single pane window. It still feels like an outside house, which is kind of fine, I guess, because it's a boot room. But I don't know, I would like to change those, but I'm not going to bother doing that unless, you know, luxury permits, because it is, to me, a luxury choice to change those things. Everything else is just optimizing the stuff while we live here. But once I have sorted this out, as well as that, the bedrooms will become bedrooms. Lily will have her space, Benjamin will have his space, Jess will have her desk in our room, as well as our bedroom, and I will have my space here for my desk. I'm sputtering through my words because there's so many things going through my brain, and there's a lot of stuff that I probably planned that I've not talked about yet. But that is the general process of what I want to do next with a house. It just keeps dawning on me. So many people keep saying, like, why are you wasting your money on this house? You're not staying here. It's like, why are you wasting your money on a rental? I had the same thing when I lived at the flat. But there is a combination of wanting to make the most of a place whilst I'm there without spending too much money. Don't get me wrong. There are certain things like the floor that was a little bit of a waste of money, to be honest, because I didn't necessarily need to tile the floor, but I'm going to have a child crawling around here soon, and I wanted to make sure that this room was airtight, not airtight, but tidy. So I know if she crawls through here, I'm not worried. Same when situation with the sanding of the floors and the new carpets and things like that. So there has been expenses spent in this place, which were a bit too much, but I can justify those things because I'm having a baby and I want to make the most of the time that I'm here, as well as it making great content for you guys. At least I hope it does. The whole idea of this place is to make memories and enjoy it whilst we have it. Because whilst we have like plans and backups in place for after this, we don't know where we're going to go next. And whilst we have this place and we do genuinely love living here, I don't want to live in squalor, if that's even the right word. Like, I want to make it nice. I want to learn things whilst I'm here. It's how I enjoy my spare time, doing this, teaching you guys and teaching myself how to do something and then sharing it with you. So yeah, I do hear all of the criticism about like, oh, spending money on this house and all that kind of stuff. I do get it, but I'm trying to do it efficiently and in a smart way that it isn't completely wasted. After all, we have already enjoyed one Christmas here with the fire and having the house feel brand new, and we will never forget that Christmas for the foreseeable future. And that's what it's about. It's about making memories. I don't want to just live here and it feel like I don't feel comfortable. Like, if I'd moved in here this time last year and I'd done nothing to the house, I would never ever feel comfortable in this house. And I feel like Jess and Benjamin and Lilia would be the same. And we're all on the same page of just like trying to make the most of whilst we're here and enjoy it. It isn't going to be every day I could look out the window and see literally nothing in the distance. So I hope you guys understand. I appreciate that I probably don't have to justify myself to you guys, but I like to share this stuff with you and you share stuff with me, and it's kind of like we have our own little family. of people who watch my content, and I really do appreciate it. Again, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who has like supported the merch, or jumped over onto Patreon and subscribed over there, or become a member on this channel. You are really helping support my family and allowing me to do things that I love to do, as well as Jess loves to do, and get to take Benji out on amazing adventures like we did for the last couple of years, because you guys are supporting the content. So thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. But we didn't do much adventuring today, not as much as I would like. However, these vlogs in between the gardening and DIY allows me to do something a little bit different every time. So it doesn't necessarily always have to be like visiting waterfalls like I used to do all the time, or going camping, or maybe just going to an exhibition show. It can be anything that I kind of want to do, and it keeps you on your toes, and you'll never know what kind of video you're going to expect. So that's how the content's going to go: DIY, garden, and day out vlogs, I call them, but traditional my life vlogs, I guess. Anyways, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. But it's always been Orion. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace, much love. Bye-bye. Wait, before you go, I completely forgot. I needed to shout out Carly, who sent us a couple of books for the kids to read, which are fantastic. She actually wrote them herself and sent them over. Amazing books. Honestly, thank you so much for sending these over. I genuinely appreciate it. I have been meaning to mention it ever since I got them. However, I've just been so busy, wrapped up, and everything else is going on, so I do apologize. Thank you again. If you want to send anything over to us, then you can. PO box is on the screen, or you can always check in the description down below. But anyways, I will catch you guys next time. Bye-bye. Because whilst I'm doing okay with my DIY tiles and my shelves, things, and other can only, it's getting me. I know that and after being to the show and seeing the kitchens that they had on there,